So after the Vitesse Spring Open last episode, Ward made it to level 4, and if I'm going to have him be a pure time trial rider, I actually want to boost attack per turn, because with his next specialization in a time trial, he's going to gain more attack points. And now a disclaimer, because in this episode I get sidetracked by a Game World realism issue. You see, my worry was that if I only scout Gazmian riders, eventually the world is going to get overloaded with Gazmians at the expense of all other nationalities. So I start scouting other nationalities but not shortlisting those riders. Except Kilrob said that I have to shortlist them, otherwise they disappear from the database. So I'm going to have to change my strategy again next episode. So, time to see who wins this year's Giro Farinia. So far it's looking like Timothy Hayes, but that was never going to last. Timothy Hayes is a flat rider. This event is dear to Kun's time to shine if he can survive. That's a big if, because he still doesn't have a lot of energy. We need to give him more energy on the next level up. David Perry might be the best rider we have by default. Or we could just say goodbye to the peloton on the very first move, which I think we have to do. I'm sure on this long flat section the peloton will reconnect with us eventually, but this is really efficient riding we're doing, and it may be what is necessary to pull one over on the field today. The stay on the peloton is going to be short-lived, however. This is not a good enough move, and we have to jump. And, I should have moved harder on the previous move. That would have saved Campbell his max attack. Everyone else still has theirs, but group we were with did not want to follow this big move into the 14. They go to the 13 instead. Big move incoming. We were saying goodbye to at least Pavlov, but it looks like we're saying goodbye to Campbell too, because they didn't quite handle him correctly. I think Kun wins the race then, because he's the only one that can make it to this next summit. Kun's speed comes into play after all, but he's going to have to be out on his own with almost no energy. Actually, this has worked out really good. Now the favourites are here, and we've got a solo shot up front. We do not chase in this group at all. Perry can just wheel suck the favourite, and if Kun gets chased down, we have one more bite of the cherry. And Campbell's going to pretend to do lead work, and they're all going to follow. Kun is so close now, but he's got nothing left in him. Campbell, we can drop off here. But what I didn't see is Dorish and Delgato managing to make it. Kun's win has gone up in smoke, and now Perry is going to have to attack. And we got attacked over as well. Perry's going to be able to join Kun, and we should get 3-4 at least. You see, I got so fixated on the idea that bridging across the Kun in one go was impossible from where we were, that I didn't see it actually happening until it was too late. Now, silver lining of a missed opportunity like that is that I did imply last episode that I don't actually want to promote. I want to get close to promotion, but not actually make it into pro before the end of Season 3. So because of what I said earlier about it, I'm not going to show my scouting in this episode. I'll go over who I shortlisted at the start of next season, but in the meantime, Herman Weiss wins the Vista Head Vizia. And as for us, we've got the Federal Bank Open, and this should finally be Campbell's chance to be the main man, because it's his major fitness peak. Very long stage. I wanted to have some fun today by sending Ward into the early breakaway, but the peloton's just not letting anyone go. Even the downhills are being ridden like mad. Things have finally settled down. We have Ward up the road. Obviously he's going to get caught eventually, but it means we don't have to put anyone in the relay because it's the other teams that need to do the chasing. I'm starting to wonder if this break is going all the way. Surely it can't. Ward definitely cannot, but the peloton, well, now they pick up the pace. So because all of the AI are being a bit dumb and setting up for a sprint that's still several turns away, we do have the element of surprise if we want to attack them, or at the very least we can follow the biggest move on this climb. And Perry can only get to the top. Campbell could carry on with it to the front group, but I'm going to save his max move. I'm only going to go to the foot. That way everyone can be together and we can have our other riders relay Campbell back. It's going to be a tricky sprint to control because I do want the luxury of being the last in this group to act. Oh, are you serious? The break won this. I didn't think they had a chance on a stage this long. Our chase down is going to come up short, and I think we're going to get out sprinted to. No, we don't. We do win that bunch sprint amongst the second pack. But I had spent the entire race thinking that there was no way a break could be that fast for that long, and in the end, they've done just that. Some interesting decisions to make now, because both Campbell and Watson have hit level 5. I'm thinking with Campbell, what I might do long term is give him a sprint point, but that doesn't come yet. I want to give him a flat point yet so he can be really strong on the flat. I'm going to do something interesting with Watson, however. I'm actually going to take downhill. I'll make him a little bit stronger in technical sectors too, so we have a little bit more energy for climbs at the end, especially with the downhill, and then I'll probably take the second mountain point at level 8. So this year's Great Plains Tour, very backloaded. Dino Lombardi ends up taking it. He's much simpler cobblestone race for us this time. Going to be very tricky at the start, but it gets gradually easier as we go. Ooh, I didn't think there was going to be any major events until much later, but the relay decided they wanted to make the race hard already. In fairness, after the breakaway won the last race we were in, I can see why the field wants to close this one down. We're going to get left behind here because I didn't think it was time to move up yet, and I only have Ward, who doesn't have a particularly big pull. Well, he does have one more big pull in him. This is a massive problem though. We've been caught completely napping. That group has ballooned out to 16, so there's going to be a lot of cohesion. Even if not everyone is pulling, gotta be preemptive because there were cobbles. Of course I needed to be in P1 earlier than I would have imagined. There is a good chance at this point that we don't come away with any points because we didn't follow the first move. Perry's got so much spare energy and attack, but it doesn't matter. We're running out of tiles. We could never put in a move that was quick enough to get to catch this pack. Yeah, that's going to be 11th with Perry, 12th even. I can't believe that move has happened. I know that the big issue was that I was way too hesitant to burn attack points to get into P1 when I needed to, which I needed to burn those attack points because Perry had almost all of them left at the end of the stage anyway. Well, this is a bit of a dark horse victory in the Tour of Gazmir. William Wagner, only level 10. He's got the climbing ability to do it, but I would have thought he would have been bopped in the time trials or the flat stages. I thought there was a fourth race to be simulated before we got to ours, but nope. It's a pretty simple strategy actually. Vladislav Pavlov, major fitness peak. I know that Watson is well suited to this profile too, because it's up and down and up and down, and it just keeps going up and down. Oh my gosh, what are these moves even in this race? Now we're going to do what is, I think, a max move for the peloton, or close to it. We're going to have to get out of P3 almost immediately. Not that there's been much good in us being there in the first place. Worried that I may have left it too late again, because I just saw the favourites hit P1 and I've only decided to go in. No, the peloton can... Once again, they're scalping one node long. That makes it harder for Pavlov. Should have enough time to bring this pack back in theory, though they are gunning hard, and this is the best move that we can make right now. We cannot... they've made it to the 11. No, I am not losing another race to the breakaway. We've got to go max attack now with Ward. Okay, we just caught the break at the end, and this is the move that is going to win the race. So, given that this is a -4, there probably won't be any slipstream on this last move, but in case there is, Pavlov does have enough to spare to lead this from the front, because he's a little bit faster than Harris. Harris, if he gets a point of slipstream, he's not going to be able to attack over. Yep, there's 1 point of slipstream. But as you can see, Harris had to max move to follow that. Watson comes in. If I tried to reorder with Watson, he would not have been able to follow that move himself. So 4th was the best he could have done there. I suspect this means Pavlov gets up to level 5 as well. So, considering Pavlov's season is, for all intents and purposes, done, I'm actually going to set him up for the next season by now going down the Cobble Puncher route. Well, this is a surprise. Gerhard Horns won the Skype race. That's not the surprise. The surprise is that he's done it whilst we're having a negative fitness. Well, this is one more chance for Dieter Kuhn to prove his worth as a sprinter, because I have been somewhat underwhelmed by him this season. He hasn't really had a lot of chances to actually sprint for the victory. Oh, what is that? That was a 4 energy move, and the peloton has just spat on it. Because I was going to say that if there was ever a stage profile that favoured a mass sprint, it would be this one, but the way this is being ridden, I'm not so sure we're going to have a mass sprint. I'm starting to get worried about that breakaway again, because they're not slowing down, even though we're putting in really fast moves up here. Oh, I get the feeling we've just missed out on the win again. No, they're not quite at the line yet. Ooh, it's going to be a catch on the exact node of the finish line. I actually thought the race was ending there. Wait, what? I positioned myself for the sprint and then find out that the guy I tried to box out of the sprint had the fastest lead out. Oh, that feels like a massive mountain of bad luck, because if we had managed to be on the right lead out, Kuhn had a massive sprint on him today. We're gonna sprint for the minor placings regardless, box all of them out, get ourselves a 9th and 10th. But this should have been so much more. You know, I didn't do this on purpose, but it may be a blessing in disguise that we messed up so much this episode, because we are not going to promote to pro prematurely. We can't make 347 points at the Great Lakes, at least I don't think so. So we will have one more year where we can dominate the amateur leagues before we make the big jump up.